Hey there, it's Trudy here, One Grounded Angel, here to read some angel cards for you for the week starting Monday the 21st of September through to the 27th of September 2020. So let's get shuffling and see what messages our guardian angels have to tell us that will help us get through this week with hopefully everything we need to know. So here's Monday's card, Brilliant Idea. We actually have another card jumped out here, Courage. Let me start here with the Brilliant Idea. If you felt like you've had a stroke of inspiration lately, this certainly confirms that. And if you haven't, maybe be open to brilliant ideas. So this card is really affirming that you're intuitively, your ideas are intuitively guided, they are divinely guided, and it's safe for you to trust them, follow through with them. You'll need some courage to do that perhaps. So sometimes we get in our own way of achieving what we need to do because of this lack of courage. And Archangel Michael is a good person to call on for a boost of courage. You already have what it takes. We don't get given information that we're not equipped to act on. So if you're getting guided to take a particular course of action and you feel like you're not good enough or you're not ready, remember that's coming from your ego. That particular information about your own worthiness is coming from your ego, not your intuition. So what you have to do is work on those ego blocks and remember that you don't have to have all the answers to get started. Just starting is enough. You'll figure it out as you go, and that you are good enough. You really do have what it takes. No one's here to live a stagnant life. So let's go to Tuesday. You are lovable. So I can see a bit of a self-worth theme emerging here. I'll read this to you. Love who you are as you're created perfectly. Everything about your true self is beautiful. Now, I don't know about you and where you're at, but personally, I wouldn't have found that message particularly helpful a couple of years ago when I was really struggling with self-worth. And that's because the idea of perfection, you're created perfectly, that's just something I didn't have capacity to take on board. So what I would sub that out for instead is just remember that there's nothing lacking within you. You're not less than. You're enough just as you are. You may not be perfect. You may not even think about yourself as beautiful. Maybe that's a triggering word for you because it tends to be associated with external stuff. But you do need to come back to this idea that you're good enough. You have enough right now. The rest of it you'll figure out as you go. So if you're seeing yourself as less than because you keep comparing yourself to other people, you might like to work with someone for help on nixing that habit, because that's not helpful. There's always going to be someone who appears like they're doing things differently to you and appears to be doing it better, but you've no idea what's going on beyond the facade, and you don't know that that's necessarily how you should or shouldn't be doing things anyway. So trying to let that go. You are lovable often comes up for people who are struggling in romantic situations. It could be about your self-worth in terms of a romantic situation. If you are trying to perhaps hold on to a situation that is no longer working because you feel like this is the best I can get. This is something that comes up with clients I work with a lot, that core belief of I have to take what I can get because of worthiness. Or it could be coming up around the idea of if you're single, feeling like you're never going to meet someone because you don't feel like you're good enough, and if you were good enough you would have met someone by now and everybody else is lucky, and you're not. So really trying to challenge those limiting ideas, and if you need help with that, please do reach out to an energy healer. I do a lot of work in the romantic space. Wednesday's card is workshops and seminars. Twofold message here. It could be about you leading workshops and seminars if you felt called to I don't know, do some sort of perhaps virtual conference or seminar of some sort, or it could be about you attending one if there's something that's been coming up for you, a course, or could even be like formal study in terms of university or college or something like that. Whatever it is, if you've been thinking about that, this card is your green light. If you haven't been thinking about that, just be open to it. There might be something that comes along that resonates, but don't do it just because you've seen the card and you think that must be it. You really have to look into whether it's actually right for you. So because there are tons of courses, if you go looking for something, you're probably going to get overwhelmed. So wait for the right thing to come along and wait till it feels right as well. ask for a sign if you need it. We had a lot of messages about signs last week. Well, we had one, but I spent a lot of time talking about it. So last Friday, so definitely go back and watch that video if you need more help understanding signs. But if you feel like there's something that you is right for you, asking for a sign is a really good way to get that validation. And I spoke before in regards to that brilliant idea of not waiting until you feel wholly ready. I think if you're committing money, you probably do want to wait until you feel like a little bit more ready, knowing that you probably will not get to 100%. This is absolutely, you know, I'm ready to nail this, because courses are always going to be challenging us. That's the whole thing of learning. And on that note, if it doesn't feel like a workshop or a seminar or a course or training is the right message for you, this card more generally is about life lessons. We're here to learn. Dr. Brian Weiss calls this the Earth School. It's not meant to be easy here. It's meant to be hard. That's how we learn. I'm not saying you should go around trying to suffer for the sake of it. That doesn't really help. But if you're in a challenging situation, one of the ways to kind of accelerate your way through, not out, but through that, is to think about, what is this lesson trying to teach me? How does it reflect what might have happened to me before? Is there something coming up here in the way I'm responding that echoes the way I responded to a different situation? And looking for what it is you need to learn here. The universe is not designed to punish you. It's not here to make you suffer, but you will attract situations that are showing you where the healing needs to be done. And nothing goes away until it teaches us what we need to know. I know I say that a lot. Thursday's card now. Oh boy, this is a very popular card. Now I've got two here. I'll start with Move. I don't know what's with this. They're just trying to make it really hard for me to hold the cards, I think. Move. This card, for some reason, people love it. I mean, it might be the colours. It's beautiful. There are two meanings. One is literally about moving. So if you have been thinking about moving house, moving cities, moving countries, this would be validating that. Now, I got this card when I lived in Auckland and I did not want to move. The housing market, the rental market was not great. I'm like, oh no, I don't want to move. And it just kept coming up. I'm like, oh, I don't want to think about this. And then a bit later, I got another situation where it became apparent that I actually needed to move back to Australia. I'm here now, so you know how that worked out. But what I'm trying to say is, when this first came up, I didn't want to hear it. And it didn't feel right for me at the time. So sometimes I do flag things now for later down the track. So that could be one way to think about it. It's also about moving your body more. So if you're being a little bit stagnant, a little bit inactive, definitely get your body moving, get into some regular physical activity. We know that it's very difficult for our spiritual body to be well if our physical body is not doing what it needs to do. So looking at anything that's stopping you from being a little bit more active. It doesn't have to be full on. It doesn't have to be anything crazy like major sweat sessions. We just need to be moving. It helps with the energetic flow. Be brave. So you don't have to be an experienced angel card reader to know that there's a bit of a pattern here. We had the courage on Monday. So definitely they're coming through to remind us that we are brave enough to deal with what's ahead of us, and we just need to ask for a little bit of help from the divine from time to time. Archangel Michael, again, is the best one to call on for that. He is associated with courage, strength, protection, confidence, all those beautiful things. And we're not asking for that to be given to us. We're asking for it to be brought to the fore. Don't worry about the language. Just ask for extra. They'll bring it to you. But you need to remember that no one's giving you courage that has come from another source. You already have it within you. The angels are just bringing it to the fore. And sometimes what they're doing also is helping remind us of what's getting in the way, our ego. So we're always the ones, or generally we're the ones blocking ourselves from stepping into our power. So that's something to think about. I think we're on Friday now. I've got so many cards, I've lost track of what day it is. But I lose track anyway, so it's not surprising. Friday's cards. Oh, I don't know if you saw that, but the cards went everywhere. So I'm going to take that as an indication that I'm barking up the wrong tree there. So let's move on to a different card deck. Since I've been talking about Michael, I will use Archangel Michael's card deck. And one card has jumped out straight away, so here we go. Someone had something to say. Ask Archangel Michael to help you with this situation. So I've already hinted at this. Michael is an archangel, which is a higher realm of angels above the guardian angels that each and every one of us has. We have multiple guardian angels, and then this higher realm who are accessible to all of us. Michael is one of them. Michael is often depicted in, or his color is royal blue or purple. So sometimes if you're meditating and you see those colors come through, that can be Michael saying hello and bringing through some extra, I guess, a little boost of energy to help you get through whatever it is you need to get through, or deal with whatever's going on. He's also, I'm saying angels don't actually have a gender, but Michael's often depicted as a male, and so that I just go with that. He's also associated with, what's the way for me to put this? He's a symbol of faith. Let me just sum it up like that. So if you are struggling to see hope, you're struggling to see that things can get better, Michael's a good one to ask for some help with that. To ask to have your faith strengthened, I guess, if that's language you would use. You could even ask for a reminder that things are going to be okay. You could direct that to any angel, really. But the other thing, that card does say, ask Archangel Michael to help you with this situation. So I think it's worth remembering that we have free will, but the angels can't do anything in our lives unless we give permission, except if our life is in danger and it's not our time to pass. So if you are struggling, I know it's hard to remember this when you're in your stuff, but remembering to ask for some help. Saturday's card here is change in direction. I love this. There is a picture of a stork holding a map. Like, how cool is that? So, I mean, anytime you've got a baby depicted here as you are, I guess it could be literal, but it could also be more symbolic. If you think about a baby, that's a new start. So this could be something that needs to be given birth to, some new start, some new direction, some sort of change. And we know that if we want to embark on a new beginning, we need to be able to let go of the old. So that could be part of what's coming up here for you. If changes are being forced upon you, it can be really difficult to embrace them because you're not in control. So sometimes a card like this can offer you reassurance that just because things look a bit murky right now doesn't mean they're wrong. So trying to make peace with that, to go with it and open up to the opportunity that is underlying those changes. This is a really weird turn of phrase. It says the changes you're experiencing are divinely directed by your newborn willingness to open your heart to love. So what I think about with that is there's a card called child which comes up from time to time, and I often talk about, yes, it can mean literally a new child, but it can also mean us having the faith of a child. There's this idea of, kids, they don't worry about where their meals, ideally, they don't worry about where their meals coming from or who's going to be there for them. They just trust because they're completely dependent on their parents, and so, or whatever grown-ups are looking after them. So I think sometimes we need to not be dependent on the universe, but to remember that we are being looked after. Our needs are taken care of. We'll always have what we need. And so even though things are a little bit topsy-turvy right now, pandemic for a start, to remember that you're navigating changes right now, but you will be okay because you are a child of the universe and you will be looked after through that process. So I think this message of keeping the faith is coming through here. Sunday, oh my goodness, Sunday's card, I literally got a child card here. This is an angel called Damara, not an angel, a goddess. This is the Goddess Guidance Oracle cards, who is associated with helping children. So again, could be literal if there's a child in your life who needs a bit of extra support. This could be asking you to step up and give them what they need, give them the help, the guidance, being a good role model. If you've been considering working with kids, this is a really good, strong indication that that's right for you. But as I say, any card around children, because a lot of people are not in that stage of life where they are having children. Some people are not able to, some people don't want to, some people are well past that stage. So what I always bring it back to is we're children. We are children of the universe, and we need to try and channel that faith of a child. And remembering that we're okay. It's going to be okay, even though we don't know what's going on right now and where we're going to end up. So I have way too many cards to hold here now. As I mentioned, this keeping the faith. It's really difficult to do that when we don't know how things are going to work out, but that's literally the definition of faith. If we were believing something that was 100% guaranteed, it wouldn't be a matter of faith, would it? It would just be a fact. So instead, we need to try and remember that beautiful quote that I come back to all the time is that faith is about taking the first step, even though you can't see the whole staircase. And that does require a degree of trust and an ability to feel safe. And if safety is a big thing for you, maybe you didn't feel safe as a child. I'm talking about emotional safety here, not necessarily personal safety. You don't feel safe to trust that you're being looked after. That's going to be really hard for you to do. So I do recommend you reach out for some energy healing if that's part of your makeup or your stuff. Courage is huge. It's been repeated. And also, oh, did I get these in the right order? I guess trusting our intuition as well, trusting those ideas that are coming through to us. Yeah, that's probably enough of a general theme. I hope that these messages have given you what you were looking for and that you've been able to apply them to your life, given that you are unique and what you're going through is going to be different to other people. The challenge with this is to be able to trust that voice of the intuition rather than letting fear go. Is that true, or did I make that up? Or nothing ever works out for you, don't believe in this, you know, all this sort of thing that fear can come up with. So if you are struggling to do just that, I recommend you reach out to me for a personal angel card reading. I do involve some energy healing into that session so that I can clear the things that have come up in the cards that are an issue for you or are blocking you from moving forward. Our energy is huge. Everything comes back to energy. If there are blocks or limiting beliefs trapped in your energy, even though you logically know that that's not really what you believe at a logical level, there can be things operating on the subconscious level, and that's what my job is to do as an energy healer, is to shift those out and help you understand what they may be trying to teach you so that you can move forward. And the best way to book that in is to go to my website, www.onegroundedangel.com. There's lots of information about the way I work there. I do work over Zoom. And even if you've never used Zoom before, it's really, really easy. And if I think most people have had to use it during this pandemic anyway, so hopefully you're across that. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram if you're not already, at One Grounded Angel, and my Facebook page is also called One Grounded Angel. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a terrific week, and let's go forth and be brave. Thank you.